Hey guys, Jim here. Wanted to share with you my excitement over a new acquisition, something I just got in today. And I've only been waiting a few weeks to get this in. And this is a Boker Burnley Kwaiken. Boker being the manufacturer, boo, hiss. Anyway, we'll get back to that in a minute. Boker being the manufacturer, buying the design from Lucas Burnley to create this rather astounding little spike of a knife. I've recently become interested in this Kwaiken styling, which is like a traditional Japanese sword styling, or a small sword, I should say. I love the idea, and when Kwaikens first started coming out, there were fixed blades, and now certain manufacturers, like Lucas Burnley, like Jake Hoback, have made folding variations, which I think is fantastic for us folder guys. Now we can have a folding Kwaiken. I think it's kind of neat. Hopefully next week I'll be receiving my Hoback version, my Kwaiback. I don't know. It's been up again and down again, and who knows what the hell's going on, but it's supposed to happen. So to satiate my want and desire to have a Kwaiken, and realizing that because Lucas Burnley, even though he's a young knife maker and a very new knife maker to the scene, you know, he kind of exploded like Todd Rexford, like Jake Hoback, like so many of the others we're seeing now, that came out of the gate with such great designs that they immediately became popular and you just can't get a knife from them. So it's going to be a long time before I get my hands on my Burnley. So I said, you know what? I know Boker makes one. Let me do a little bit of research. And I was searching YouTube because if you guys watch my YouTube channel at all, you've seen my Boker rants. You've watched my video on the Boker Salmonero Bullseye and how they completely just butchered that knife. And pretty much everything that says Boker on the blade is butchered. I mean, they can't center a blade to save their life. I honestly think that they hire knife makers only that are missing one eye, because they can't line shit up. They can't make things work. The locks are always tragic and fail or get lock-rocked. There's always something wrong with them. So I was a little bit sketchy on it. So I decided, well, I'm going to check YouTube and see what people are saying about their Boker Kwaikens and see if it's, you know, worth the $95 investment. And when I did that, I'm going to go ahead and bring this into frame here. When I did that, I came across this particular video. Now remember, this is the first time I had searched anything on the Boker Kwaiken on YouTube, and that was the first thing that popped up. And it's by a gentleman that now goes by Bower Bladeworks. At the time, his channel was called like Bower 231 or something like that. His name's Kevin. And I watched this video, and he did such a great pimp job on this knife that comes from the factory. I'll be honest with you, in my eyes, and everybody sees things differently, don't jump on me, in my eyes, ugly as sin. Green OD, canvas micarta scales. You guys might like green, orange drab, and that's fine. I'm just not an OD kind of guy. And a very basic, plain, generic look with a very plain finish on the frames and on the blade. Perfectly acceptable for, you know, $95, which you can buy it at Blade HQ for. And then I saw that pimp video and went, whoa, man, there's a whole world of stuff you can do to it. Now, I want to be very clear. That was the first time I had done any search on that. And that was the first video I came across. And then I immediately emailed Kevin and said, please, please, please make me one. It was only after that I found out that it's really Alexander Dietz that made the pimpifying of the Boker Kwaiken popular and actually invented this flipper mod that we'll talk about in a few minutes. So I do want to give credit where credit is due to Dietz, who pioneered that particular mod. Fantastic job, and I'm so glad that you did that, because that really, in my eyes, completely changes the knife and makes it so much better. So let's talk about, again, the knife at first, then we'll talk about Kevin and the work that he did. Now, when we talk about the knife, it's a 3.5-inch blade, and the whole reason behind, generally, people behind wanting to get a Kwaiken is that you've got something small and very, very slender in your pocket and in your hand. The overall length is only about 8.4 inches, so it's not a very big knife. It doesn't play like something that's too teeny, though. You guys know how I am. You saw my video on the Alan Fultz inertia. Loved the knife. It was amazing. It was just too small for me. This is not too small for me. 3.5-inch blade. fairly slim. It's AUS 8 steel. Not all that great. But, you know, unless you want to start spending at least $1,000, and that's if somebody decides to sell their authentic Burnley Kwaiken, you're not going to get one. So you're going to suffer with AUS 8. And again, it had micarta scales. Let's do some comparisons here against other 3.5-inch knives. This will be longer than the Curtis F3. Put it up against my Rocksteads, which are also both 3.5-inch blades. My Rockstead tie, which it's smaller than the Rockstead tie. There is my Rockstead Shin. So it's just a little bit smaller in overall length than either of those, but it's a very teeny tiny, almost unnoticeable difference. Now you're also going to see a theme here, and I'll bring out my Browse Reloader as well, which is also a 3.5-inch blade. Now those end to end are nearly identical, but you're going to see a theme here, and that theme is everything else is tremendously thicker and wider in that size. This looks like a big, giant, beefy knife. Now, it carries well, but this is so much more slender, and it's also a lot more slender in these dimensions as well. Sometimes I like my big tanks. You guys know I have, you know, the Direware. I've got the Medford and this and that. There are times that I love that big tank of a knife in my pocket, and there are times, and the same reason I bought my Will Moon Mark 6s, I want something that's smaller and more slender, and this certainly fit the bill. Now, the tragic things about the Boker in general, they put a thumb disc on there that makes it virtually impossible to open by the thumb disc, and everybody has said the same thing. Here's the funny thing. If you get the variation that was made as an exclusive for Blade HQ with the orange scales, you'll get a larger, wider thumb disc. And you'll notice it's going to take me zero effort. I'm just going to slide my thumb in. It drops right in. There is no effort whatsoever required to open this. That's fantastic. Really good thing is Boker does supply these with IKBS bearings at the pivot. So when it flies open, it hits your tripod and makes a terrible noise. When it flies open, it flies open. So nicely done there, especially on that flipper mod. Okay, so I contacted Kevin and I said, I got to have one of these pimped by you. You did such an amazing job. He says, okay, well, what do you want to have done? I said, well, I want to do a lot of what I saw in the video there as far as stone washing and this and that. But here's the materials that I really want to use. I'd already had a couple of knives in the Lightning Strike carbon fiber. And I really wanted to try, for the first time ever, that silver wire Lightning Strike carbon fiber. I'm very glad that I did. I actually like this a lot more than the copper wire. I don't know why. I think it's just more of a neutral color, perhaps. A little bit less gaudy, a little bit less pimpy. Not that there's anything wrong. I love the regular Lightning Strike, but I really like the silver a lot better. And I said, underneath that, between that and the frame, I want to have purple G10, which a lot of people don't even know that it exists. It does. I want the backspacer flush and done also in the purple G10, and it does stand out more as a backspacer than as a liner. I want to do kind of a medium stone wash on the frame, and then I want a contrast of super crazy dark stone wash for the blade. And I think that overall balance makes it look fantastic. He was also kind enough to do the same matching dark stone wash on the clip so that one complements the other from one end of the frame to the other. Now, the trials and tribulations of working on a Boker. I could not be a knife pimper, I tell you that right now. Poor Kevin, everything that could have gone wrong did. He gets in the first one, and it was a raging hunk of shit. You know, pretty much anything you pull out of a Boker box will be, unfortunately. Had severe lock issues that were irreparable. The blade was completely way off center, and that wasn't going to really change much. So luckily he deals with quality people like Blade HQ. They got him a replacement post haste. I mean, they got it out to him super, super fast because he was kind enough to give me an option when I reached out to him. He says, well, do you already have one? I said, no. I said, I've got to buy one, then I'll ship it to you. He says, you know what? Don't even bother. I will order it. It'll get shipped directly to me. It's no work on your end as the customer. And it reduces, 3, 4, 5 days, maybe a week off of your wait time by just having it directly shipped to me. So I thought that was fantastic. It made my life a lot easier. The price was fantastic. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry guys, I don't pay a lot of attention to prices, but I think it was around $235 total, including the cost of the knife. So I mean, all the work this guy did was, he kind of undersells himself. I mean, just crazy amount of work for such a little amount of money. Anyway, so he gets the knife in, tragic problem, sends it back, and it was kind of serendipitous that he did, because what we ended up doing, I should say he got in the Blade HQ exclusive that had the orange scales that had the larger thumb disc, which makes me a lot happier. So if I want to deploy it by the thumb disc, I can, whereas the other one I wouldn't have been able to. And after some tweaking and playing, take a look at this. Look at that lockup. That's not Boker lockup. That's like custom knife lockup. And it's solid. He's done some nice spine whacking on it just to make sure. Because I said, well, I just want to make sure it's safe. There you can kind of see the purple coming through a little bit better as the liners there. So great lockup. He performed a great job on the blade centering. This is not Boker blade centering, guys. You know that. That is damn near perfect. And for me, that was important because one of the reasons I love this style of knife is the fact that the blade is completely hidden within the handles. I love that look from time to time for certain knives. He did the detent mod. He did this wonderful flipper mod, which again, all credit due to Alexander Dietz for inventing that, for creating that. Basically, what he's doing is there is no flipper on this model. He cuts away the frame at a severe angle so that your finger is engaging the tang side of the blade, and because this is IKBS, well, it just flies out like crazy. It's a fantastic mod, and Kevin took off a lot of material. He said he took off as much material as he could take off before I started losing my carbon fiber here at the pivot. So it works great. Feels fantastic in the hand. I love holding and playing with this knife. The finish work he did was also fantastic. Give you some nice close-up shots here of the quality of his work. Nice stonewash on that blade. Went with the light stonewash on the thumb disc. And there you see that two-tone effect where we go to that light stonewash or medium stonewash on the frame. He did a fantastic job on the lightning strike. There's no wire popping up, and you guys know that have dealt with lightning strike. It's a pain in the ass. You'll get these little burrs that'll come up and you'll feel them snag. I haven't felt a snag yet. These are glass smooth. He did a fantastic job. The purple G10 gave him a really hard time because it turns out once you grind it down and you polish it, unfortunately, it gets a lot darker. When you look at purple G10 in the sheet material, it's actually a very bright purple, which is why I wanted it. And it gets very, very dark. The unfortunate thing is it also burns like freaking crazy. He barely was able to make this knife without burning up everything that he had at the edges. So again, great contouring work, nice feel, no rough edges anywhere. I mean, this is like it was, done by a professional knife maker that's been doing this all their lives. It's just beautifully done. Perfect size, so you can still see that light stonewash frame all the way around. The lockup on this, the centering on this, everything is awesome. Now, the only problem I have with this, and this has nothing to do with Kevin, it's only in the manufacturing of the knife and something that he would not be able to correct, is you'll notice the tip there, and yes, you will catch your finger on that tip. And because Kevin was kind enough, he felt the need to make up for the additional weight for Boker's defect, which wasn't his fault. I wasn't faulting him at all. But he threw in a little freebie for me, and he ran a wicked edge across this and put a nice, clean, super sharp edge on this. So that also affects the tip. That's going to make that super sharp. So I just have to be careful anytime I'm handling the knife not to take my finger and run it this way up the blade. It's not going to cause an issue for carrying, being tip up. That's against the back seam of my pocket. Now, hopefully, that's not going to snag. I've not pocketed this yet to know that for certain. And if that's an issue, you know, maybe I'll send it out to somebody that can reprofile the blade a little bit for me. But all in all, I am very pleasantly surprised because of the fine tuning, because of the pimping that's been done on this. This has been made into a great knife. It did not deliver as a great knife from Boker. So I will tell you this, if you're interested in this style of knife, you want to get into something a little bit different than everything else in your collection, please do. Hit up Kevin. You saw, I'll show his channel once again. There it is. Bower Bladeworks. By the way, a pathetic number of subscribers, guys. This guy is too awesome to only have 1,300 subscribers. Go subscribe to him. Watch his videos. He's got some nice videos. He does some cool sales every now and then. Teaches you how to use a wicked edge. I mean, this guy is really awesome. And you know what? He's a really nice guy to boot. I had a lot of fun. I think we shared like 30 some odd emails back and forth. And this, by the way, was the video he did when he completed mine. You can listen to all of the issues that he had making it. He's a super fantastic guy that does a great job at what I feel is a much more than fair price. As soon as I got it, I emailed him and said, I will be ordering another one to have you pimp. I just got to figure out which way I want to go. So, all in all, could not be happier. I can't wait to carry this tomorrow. Well, I'm probably not going to carry it tomorrow because my Tannic arrives tomorrow. And you all know how much I want that. Oh, but this is going to get some pretty serious pocket time. I feel like even if I were dressed up in a pair of nice dress pants or wearing something lightweight like a pair of shorts, no belt or anything like that, I think that something this slim, this small, and fairly lightweight is going to be great for that kind of carry. So just some quick macro HD shots, and I hope you're watching this in HD as with all of my videos. It's the only way that it's going to do these knives justice. The quality of his work is honestly of somebody that's been making their own knives for a number of years. So I highly suggest you contact him, or at the very least subscribe to his channel and watch what he's got going on. I'm going to sign off for now because honestly, I kind of want to sit here and play with my new knife. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Kevin, once again, you did an absolutely outstanding job, even having to go uphill, having to deal with the quality of what Boker delivered to you both times. So thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. And you will be seeing more pimp jobs from me. Absolutely. Talk to you guys later.